All right, let me add Jasmine. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay.
Anybody else joining us today? Or
Yeah, I see Jasmine. Jasmine
yeah,
is
yeah, but
connecting.
besides the two of us.
Yeah, so I thought what's her name? There's one other lady that she texted that she want to connect live today, but again, that's as much as I know. So if she has a chance, she will. Otherwise, she will just rely on the recording.
Yeah. One question: how can we review these YouTube recordings that we are making?
Okay, remember we have a Slack channel?
Yeah, yeah, I am in there, but I haven't seen it. I don't know where. I
No,
don't know
I
how.
did. I so at the end of the understanding is at the end of every class. Okay, that's Karen. Yeah, so I was actually supposed to put the recording of our class at the end of every class in here, but I guess I didn't put the first one. Yes, that's a good catch. I'm gonna put the first one and this one at the end of the class.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So that is how we review it. Okay. Hi, Jasmine. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. And you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Okay. Okay.
All right, let's quickly deep dive into our scope of today. So today we'll be reviewing chapter 2, and you or Nico will facilitate. So who would like to facilitate? Who want to be the scrum master?
I'll let the ladies do it first.
I like
Why the lady?
that's cute. I like that technique. All right, lady. So you have the floor.
What do I do?
All right. So you remember the last time where I facilitated and we had to go around and you communicate what you did yesterday. And yesterday, in today's context, would be you were expected to complete chapter 2, right? So we
Yeah.
want to hear you talk about that. If you did or you didn't, and then if you didn't, why you didn't, but hopefully you did.
Oh, I
So
did.
yeah, hold on. No, so you are the facilitator. Just wait, just give a second. Let me explain it.
Okay.
So you will be facilitating the conversation, right? You will go around to your team members, in this case, Niku, check with Niku what he did yesterday, what he planned to do today, and today in our context would be chapter 3,
Hmm.
and anything else that will help you one step closer to your agile goals. And if you have any impediments. And from the impediments perspective, when anybody's talking about their impediments as a scrum master, that's where you capture those impediments. But in this case, don't worry about writing them because I'm here and I'll take note of those impediments as they are talking about it. And then that's it. That's gonna be the scope of our conversation, the impediment we have gathered. So that's pretty much it. You just want to go around and check on using these 3 questions as your guide. What did you accomplish yesterday? What do you plan to accomplish next? Do you have any impediments? That's pretty much it. So let's try
Okay.
it and see how it goes.
So should I start with myself first?
It's all up to you.
Okay, so I'm going to start with myself. What did I accomplish yesterday? I finished the whole of chapter 2 yesterday. So I'm good. Then what do I plan to accomplish? It's to, of course, study my chapter 3 and still do some like little research. Then my impediment was I was a bit confused between the event and the sprint because during the class I know you mentioned something like Scrum has 4 events and sprint is like the buckets that holds the event. So I'm just a bit confused. Like, what's the difference between the event and the sprint?
Okay.
So yeah, so that's for me. So hi Nico, you okay?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, good. That's good to know. So, today I'm going to be asking you, what did you accomplish yesterday? What do you plan to accomplish? What's your goal? And if you have any impediments, so you could just let me know.
Sure. So, from my accomplishments already that I did, let's say I was actually able to review chapter 2 and 3, and probably I did a little bit wrong doing that because I'm kind of mixing up now. I don't know which one is 2 and 3. I just went over and over again. I went over the workbook, including from the chapter 1, like again, because for me, everything is new, everything like terminology wise and the whole idea and the whole thing. So for me, I keep trying to review it, understand it in my mind, because it's not only about passing the certification, it's about actually understanding. So that's if it's about if we talk about the impediments that I got, it's getting swimming through all these new terms. And like pretty much the way I analyze this is I'm watching a little bit, pause it. Okay, what does this word mean in this context? Because if you Google it, it will not tell you exactly what you meant by that, and then going back and forth. So it's, for me, it's a new learning process. I never did schools and stuff like this online. So what I'm planning to do, I will start talking probably to the whiteboard that I have here next to me, starting making some notes on it, because that's my biggest fear, I would say. That's why I probably let you start this, because I wasn't even sure what to say at the beginning. So yeah, that's the plan.
That's fine. That's good. So, do I need to ask you as well?
No.
Okay.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I
Okay.
like that you were not nervous, given that it's your first time doing it. Yeah, and I like that you spoke out, not speak in. That's also a skill that most freshers don't have, because they can be nervous and then they lack confidence, and then they're speaking like they're speaking inside their belly. But you didn't do that. That's
Thank
really
you.
amazing.
Thank
So I think you did a great job facilitating. The only thing that I have for improvement for you as a Scrum Master is you when you were about talking to Niku, or initiated the conversation with Niku, you said, you asked, okay, what you did yesterday, today, and if you have
What's
any
my
impediment,
goal?
would you like to let me know? That's where that's where we can fix it.
you.
So they are not talking to the Scrum Master. These developers, when they are having this conversation around what they accomplished yesterday, what they plan to accomplish next, and if they have impediment, they are not talking to you, the Scrum Master. You're only there to facilitate that conversation, but they are talking among themselves. You see, think about it. If they are working on the technical, let's say they're looking to develop a website. You are the Scrum Master, and now you're opening that door for them to talk to you on what they accomplished yesterday, today, and impediments. If they're telling you about their wireframe and all this, would you even understand what they're talking about?
No.
You're not. So you don't want to go start something you'll not finish.
Okay.
See?
So just like
So
they're talking to the team in general.
they are talking to themselves.
Oh,
So a daily scrum is, this is how I like to put it, it is a meeting for the developers by the developers.
okay.
So you see what you just did? That's the normal thing most scrum masters do, because they don't understand. So they're driving that conversation and gearing these people to be talking to them. And even on the ground, while serving as a scrum master, if I'm facilitating a session, if I hear a team member saying, okay, Karen, yesterday I did this, I did that, I already know that that person don't understand what we should be doing in the daily scrum, or the purpose of a daily scrum. I hear that all the time. And then the next person will be like, okay, Karen, so yesterday I completed the wireframe, I did the coding on the back end thing, and then I really needed help from Niku. And so I think I still need help from Niku. I'm like, okay, let's just take a pause, team. I just want to make sure we understand why we are here, and to clarify, you shouldn't be talking to me, because I definitely cannot help you. So Niku is right there. Niku is in the middle right there. And then I'm just going to talk about it like in a funny way, like just create some little humor there, because naturally that's really how I am. Make them laugh about it, not like very rigid, like they're doing something terribly wrong. So I would nicely redirect them to say, Nico is right here. Why are you talking about him like he's not here? So talk to him. He's right there. And then he will now redirect the conversation and say, okay. And then he'll be talking to Nico directly. Nico, I need your help. I actually reached out yesterday. I sent you a text message, but it seems like you were too busy. So are you able to jump on a call after this stand up so that I can show you whatever? So that's how the conversation happens. So anytime these people start talking to me, I redirect them to talk among themselves. So that is what we do in the daily scrum. So one of the questions that typically come in the exams is the scrum. So who are the attendees in the daily scrum, the required to attend a daily scrum? And then you will have options like the scrum master must be there, all of that. So keep in mind the scrum master is not necessarily supposed to be in a daily scrum.
Okay.
A scrum master is optional in a daily scrum. Now that is per the book. In real life, as a scrum master, I've always been in a daily scrum because for the most part, these people don't want to facilitate all these things. So I find myself always facilitating, but I'm really not supposed to be there, especially for teams that get it, that the job of a scrum master is to help us eventually become self-managing and
I was
self-organizing.
about to say that you're doing a bad job. They are not self-managing. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes. So I help these people understand that that's really what I'm here for, to help you eventually become self-managing and self-organizing in a way that even if I don't come for the meeting, you are still able to make progress without me being there. So that's where I put their brain. I help them understand that that's the goal, you see, so that they don't expect me to be there before they can do anything. I've seen situations where the scrum master doesn't come for a daily scrum. They'll sit there for 10 minutes and they'll be like, oh, the scrum master is not here today. Let's go. Let's close out. They don't have it. They will not, they'll just cancel the meeting. They will not have it just because the scrum master is not there. You see, so we don't want our teams to do that. So it's really about how you start, the foundation, you start laying in them. The key is helping them understand the purpose of doing whatever you're trying to make them adopt. If they don't understand the reasoning behind it and they only see it as some checklist that they have to do, that's when now they'll start feeling like, they will not do it when you're not there. But if they understand why they are doing it, it means they will see the value in it and they would want to do it on their own, even if you're not there. So yes, that's the only thing I have for you for improvement. So in this case, it's just a matter of now that I've clarified, you understand why they hold daily scrum and who they hold it for. It's just a matter of restructuring your words, your statements, and not invite them to talk to you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I just want to add this one statement based on what we're saying. We also have what we call the level 3 program. Our level 3 program is for professionals, people that are working already as scrum masters, as agile coaches, product managers, all of those people, and they need help to be more impactful in their roles. And then sometimes I would have these scrum masters, that I'm mentoring. When we connect, I'm asking them, so how did your work week go? What happened? What's going on? And then they'll be like, Karen, I just don't know what to do. During daily scrum, they will tell me all these things that they're doing when I don't understand anything they're saying. I don't understand all this technical terminology, so I don't even know what to do with that information. And then I'll be like, but why are they talking to you? And they should be like, but I'm the scrum master, so they're supposed to be telling me. I'm like, okay, I think that's really where you're getting all wrong. That's exactly why you don't know what to do with the information. Because you don't need to know what to do with the information. You're not the one doing the work. Your own there is to only help them remove impediments if they need you to remove it for them. And keep in mind, you are not there to actually remove impediment. You are there to ensure that the impediments are removed.
That's one, sorry to interrupt. That's
Mhm,
one
yeah,
thing
go
that
ahead,
I
go ahead.
noticed in all this. Like, if you really go into each word, what it means, it kind of like at the first impression, you kind of think that you have to know everything, you have to do everything for them. And then there
Mhm,
is that one word, you have to ensure, you have
mhm,
to make that possible, not do the
mhm,
actual work,
mhm.
not but make sure everything is like when I was answering the question in chapter 3, I think there are some questions, and that was the thing. The Scrum Master does not have to be there. He ensures that that happens, that the daily Scrum
Yeah.
takes place. Not necessarily to be. Initially, I thought I have to be there.
Yeah,
And
exactly. You get it. You get it. So that's what's going on. So I told that person that, and then the person, that's when it dawned on her. And she's like, okay, wow. Yeah, because you're not the one developing the work. Why would you want them to tell you all these things? What do you want to do with that information? The only thing that concerns you is, do they have impediments? Do they have a plan around how the impediments will be resolved? That's all.
if they
That's
said,
all.
yes, I do, how can we,
If
what
they
should we
say, so if they say so the way I typically go about it, as let's say Jasmine is saying, oh, I did, I completed chapter 2 and I was really struggling to understand how to, you know, what this whole event is talking about. I really have no understanding. And after that, I called Niku, and Niku was able to help me explain it. Now she had an impediment. She took steps already to remove this impediment. And then maybe in this case, she can still be saying, I called Niku, I couldn't get a hold of Niku. And at this point, even though I know Niku can help me, but I really don't know how else to get a hold of him. And this is really high priority. If we are not able to resolve this by 2 days from now, we may not be able to meet our sprint goal. Saying something like that, and then that's where I come in. I would ask, okay, would you want me to follow up on that? This person has already attempted, and now you as a scrum master, you're weighing, because at the same become self-managing and self-organizing, but at the same time you don't also want to be very dogmatic. You want to be able to measure, is it worth it if they invest their time going to follow up on this thing just because we are looking for them to become self-managing and self-organizing, or should they actually just commit this time to achieving something better, and then I can finish that for them. So you're weighing these things like that in your head while they're talking. If you see that that's a person who usually takes steps to resolve things and speak up when they are still stuck, then yeah, you want to finish those things for them. So the point I'm trying to say is that don't just jump in the middle of every little impediment to want to remove it for them. You're actually harming their ability to solution for themselves.
don't babysit, pretty much.
Thank you. You don't want to be a scrum mama or a scrum daddy. That's how I call it. Yes. So yeah, I'm glad that you all get it. So that's it. All right. And then on the point on the difference between events and sprints. So I like you to see the sprint events as, let me go to the slide. We have 5 official events. So in layman term, we call it meetings. We have 5 meetings, official meetings in Scrum, which is the daily Scrum, the sprint planning, the sprint retrospective, the sprint review, and then one which is really not a meeting, but it's a container that carries all these meetings, which is what they call a sprint itself. A sprint itself is just that 2-week cycle. Let's say if you've agreed to work on a 2-week cycle, is that 2 weeks time frame that all these activities have to take place or all these meetings have to take place. It's also considered as an event.
Okay.
So that's why in total, they say we have 5 Scrum events, official events, even though in actual, we only have 4 official meetings. Then we have the sprint itself, which is called a heart, that carries a container that carries all these events. So that is the difference between a sprint. So a sprint is one of the events, but it's only called an event, but actually it's not a meeting. It's just that time. It's just a name that is given to that time box that you will be doing your work and having all these meetings. So that's the difference between a sprint and an event. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
does.
does.
And I do
All right.
have one question about this, which I wrote it when I read the
Yeah.
guide. If you can give better examples about like the difference between sprint review and the sprint retrospective, because in
Retrospective.
the retrospective, it is a review. When I was reading, I'm like, it's a bit confusing. Like, what's the actual?
Yeah.
And my understanding is what I can understand from there is in the review, let's say the stakeholders participate, you kind of present this. It's they decide if it gets deployed or not, the product. But in the retrospective, it's just the team itself, which looks in the past to see what they can improve and continue in the next one. Is that where I'm wrong? I'm just trying to
Yeah,
better.
yeah, we can clarify that. I think chapter 3, when you get to, have you no, you're not, are you in chapter 3 yet? Did you complete chapter 3 already?
I
Um,
looked it up, but it's a short one. It's not
okay.
that complex.
Okay, don't worry. When you go focus on complete chapter 3, it will all make sense to you because chapter 3 is actually dedicated to talk about that.
Okay.
Now, since we have time, let's talk about the difference between a sprint review meeting and a sprint retrospective. Also, I don't want to confuse Jasmine. So, Jasmine, don't worry. Chapter 3, it's detailed on that alone.
Okay.
So, see a sprint review as an event where the developers connect with the stakeholders to show what they have done, what they have achieved. That's it. So it's a review of the product, or they want
Okay.
to call it the increments that they've achieved. Let's say, for example, this sprint, we committed. Remember the example we mentioned the last time on our website, Being Agile website. We committed to working on the login functionality, where customers can easily log into our website using their username and password. That was what we've committed to doing in this sprint. And then on the last day of the sprint, we will be having a sprint review event. That sprint review is where we meet with the stakeholders to show them what we have done. Not some presentation on some slides, just telling stories. No, we're actually showing something that's working, showing how the username and password is really working, even showing an example where people put in their names and it's doing what it's supposed to do. Go ahead. I see your hand up.
Sorry, I'm still learning how to. Okay,
Yeah,
hold
no, no
on.
problem. That's why we're here.
So okay, you have this review, and then it's always about feedback. Is the feedback more in real life? We're talking about real life because theoretically we can read it here and there. I'm asking from your experience. In real
Yeah.
life,
Right.
is the feedback given right away? When does the retrospective happen? Like in right after that, the next day? How exactly is this going on?
All right, don't worry. We'll come to the retro, but let's just focus on your question around the feedback for the sprint review.
Yeah.
So now that we are virtual, it's a little bit different. No, once I'm actually working. Okay, come in quietly and drop it there. Okay. Sorry about that.
No,
So okay, now that we're in a virtual space, it's a little bit different. Now, assuming that we are working on that login functionality. We are in a sprint review. When we connect with this, we've invited the stakeholders, right? The people that are interested in what we are doing. That is the business people or whoever is sponsoring that work we are doing. They've connected to this meeting live. And then the Scrum Master is facilitating the session. The Scrum Master will say something like, "Hi, everyone, welcome. So today we will be reviewing the increments that we've achieved for this sprint. So just to set the stage, we have our team members that will be sharing some of the challenges they went through. They would also be sharing some successes they achieved, and they will show you all what we've accomplished. So see, now you're reminding your stakeholders. So please, the expectation here is as we show you. So that's what they call demo, though, demonstration. It really means showing. As we show you what we've accomplished. What we expect from you is to give us your, candid feedback so that we can use that information and make adjustments or adapt for improvement. Then they'll be like, okay, now they know what to expect. And sometimes you've already agreed with your team members who will be showing what. Sometimes 3 people can show different things based on what they've been working on. And then they'll just go on that login functionality. I just want to pretend like I'm trying to log in something here. Let me pretend. I'm sharing my screen now to show you. All right, let's assume that, okay, I'm trying to log into this website. I go to the website link, I click on it. Now this person is actually showing that, look, okay, this is a username. This is a username field. This is a username. I'm able to type in my name. And then I'm able to type in my password. And then I'm able to see it's working. I'm actually able to log into the website. You see, that's what it is. So now that it's working, they will look through it, they will see. And then they would also check, there are different criteria, what we call acceptance criteria and the definition of done. So they are looking through all of that to see if, okay, I wanted this, when they log in, they're able to see this blue button right here. And yeah, it should be a black color. Yeah, this is good. No, I actually said it should be green, not black. So yeah, so if you would go make that adjustment, because our clients we ask for green, not black. So now the developers are hearing that, oh, I think we missed that. They actually wanted this color
How
here
about
to be
if they
green.
change?
Mm-hmm.
How about if
So
they change their mind during the sprint? Like okay, initially in the backlog, the item was described as being green, and now
mhm.
it was this as black. Now they want it green, and they change. Is this considered that the sprint is done? Like you did finish it, or no? Just because they changed their mind meanwhile.
Hold on. Okay, so the sprint is done, but you will not say the increment is done, because the sprint is just a time frame. Remember, the
Yeah.
sprint is time, and the time has gone, the time is over. So the sprint has ended. So yes, the sprint is done, but the increment is not done. The increment is the thing you were trying to achieve.
My
It's not
question,
done.
I meant the increment, but I said
Yes, yes. So yeah, so to answer your question, no. The increment is only done when it's done, when it meets that definition of done. So in this case, you will take it back and fix it. If it's still a priority to them based on what the customers are saying, then yeah, you will bring it in your next sprints as part of what you'll be doing. And you will do that little fix until it is done. So you see how where the beauty of agility comes in. You're really showing the little you've done. So the customers, they're giving you real-time feedback. And now you've not invested so much. Imagine that if you've spent the entire 2 years creating this whole big thing, and then you come at the end of that project life cycle to show them, and they're like, nope, this is not what we asked for. That's why you see project managers are always very stressed, because most of the time they hardly ever meet what the customers ask, and then the project fail, they are stressed, they are disappointed, they lost their jobs and things like that.
even just from communicate two people saying the same words, they can understand them differently. So
Mm-hmm.
getting all this feedback every time and so often, it's way better.
Mm-hmm.
I get that part.
Exactly.
So okay, I'll let you continue now.
No, go ahead. If you still have any question around here, please go ahead and ask. Feel free to do so. Otherwise, we'll move on.
For me, it's very like to really get examples from that software develop, because this is where mostly it's used, right? From this,
Mm-hmm.
because software development for me, it's like completely out of my
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, right? And like,
Mm-hmm.
do we need to take notes, for example, when these meetings happen? Me as a Scrum Master, if they say like when you have the sprint review, do I take notes of the technical part, or just the, as a to-do list in case to remind them if they
You get
well
it right.
or something?
The second
Because
thing you said would be what
at
you
the
would do.
at the end of the day, it's our role is for the team to succeed, and just because
Mm-hmm.
somebody's lazy or didn't understand or missed something, you don't want the whole team to fail, right? And you kind of need to take them, make sure everybody got everything. That I'm a little bit of a control freak, I was
Mm-hmm.
told.
No,
So
don't
Just
worry.
be a
I need to keep
servant leader
everybody
or
under
a leader
control.
servant.
Yeah, he will learn that. I mean, that this is really how it is. For you to succeed in an agile role, you now need to now open your mind to unlearn the
Mm.
authoritative or traditional. We call it traditional because we don't want to hurt people's feelings by saying authoritative, So to unlearn the traditional leadership style and now relearn the leader who serves style. That's how we call servant leader who serves style.
So it will not hurt if we make those notes and remind people, hey, this and that.
It will not hurt. Whatever works for you. But what I'm saying is that it's not mandatory, unlike the waterfall style or the traditional project environment where meeting minutes is a huge deal. It's actually a part of the task that has to be done. But in the agile space, no, it's not. You don't necessarily need to sit there to take some tight minutes. But yeah, I usually like to. I actually have my virtual note taker. I use OneNote because it's very structured. I use Microsoft OneNote to take note for every of these things. Have different pages open, different workbooks open, and that's how I'm structured. So, but when it comes to technical aspects for the sprint review, the product owner actually owns this meeting, not even the Scrum Master. So the product owner take notes on the changes per feedback provided, not even you, the Scrum Master. And then the developers too usually have more understanding from a technical perspective, way more than the product owner, because the product owner too is not expected to be technical. So while they are giving the feedback, the developers usually pick it up even way faster than the product owner. And then they go back and collaborate. They make those changes in the product backlog as needed. So it's really usually a team spirit thing. It's not an isolated one man trying to figure it out and is sweating all by themselves. See? Yeah, so that is it for a sprint review though. Now for a sprint retrospective, it's not a meeting where they're inviting stakeholders. It's only the team participating in that meeting. And they are reviewing how the entire sprint went in terms of the behavior. And when I'm talking about behavior, I'm typically looking at the Scrum values: commitment, courage, focus, openness, and respect. How did were we really showing these behaviors? Because that's how we want our teams to show up all the time. It should be a part of their lifestyle. Yeah. So we are looking at the behavior. We are looking at the tools. Maybe, okay, we are not, right now we are still tracking our work on spreadsheet. I just learned about Jira. Have you heard about Jira? Maybe that's something we want to incorporate and try to start managing our work and track issues all in one place. We are looking at the framework. How did we do with our events? What can we improve? Are we actually... So it seems like I noticed that the developers were talking to the Scrum Master instead of us really discussing among ourselves. So do we really understand? And then we are seeing how we can improve that. I also noticed that team members were not engaged. So I'm not the one saying all this though. I'm saying that's what we all are looking at. So we are reviewing everything around what we do as a team from a holistic perspective. Behavior, tools and technique, framework, the product, everything. So we review it in terms of what did we do well? What can be improved? And then at the end of the day, 1 second, let me just land. At the end of the day, you identify action items for improvement. So if you have a sprint retrospective and you don't come out with at least one action item for improvement, we say that it was a baseless retrospective, because that's the whole point. We want to come up with one thing, at least one thing that we want to improve. So that's where the concept of continuous learning and continuous improvement really manifests.
Okay.
Jasmine, please go ahead.
Oh, so retrospective is more like internal, then review is more like external.
Thank you. So review is that one meeting, as we say in Scrum, where the whole world can be invited if they're interested. But retrospective is only for the core team. We don't even want managers to be there. We don't want nobody that is not part of the core, these three roles, developer, Scrum Master, and product owner, to be there, because that's our own Vegas. As people say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's our own Vegas. We want people to really feel free to express themselves. Even if they feel frustrated, they want to rant. Yes, let them rant. However, we want to make sure it stays healthy. We don't want a situation where it becomes a blame game thing, finger pointing. No, no, no. We don't want that. And if to say it stays healthy, a team that is rooted in the Scrum values, it would definitely stay healthy because they'll be able to respect each other while they rant safely. At the end of the day, just make sure that whatever you're doing there, you come out with at least one action item for improvement.
What if the team is good and there's no action? What if the team is just these three core values you mentioned, the respect, the tools? What if the team is on point and there is nothing to like actually really?
So that's a very good question you ask, but in reality, it's never possible. And you would see teams that they will say, oh no, we're good. We're teams that usually claim they are good, that's the team that is doing the worst. Because just because they think they are that good already, to me, that's a red flag. Because if your mind is in the right place as a self-starter, you would know that there is always an opportunity to improve. Always. You just have to look.
Can you give us an example, please? Like
Mm-hmm.
an item that came up after the retrospective meeting.
Yeah. Okay. So I started coaching this team. I mean, I came in as an agile coach though. So usually when I'm talking, I like to sometimes break it down and paint the picture of a Scrum Master. But for this particular example, I was serving as an agile coach. So I was observing or shadowing or observing one team. They call him technical manager. Their technical manager was the one facilitating their retrospective. He wasn't even supposed to be in a retrospective. So my first day of joining their meeting, the very first thing he did was he started telling me, oh, I am SAFe certified. I'm a SAFe consultant. He named like 7 different certifications in Agile he has taken, trying to paint an expert picture to me as an Agile expert. He's a tech manager. So, and usually in my experience, I can easily sense pride, as people say, over, like you know too much. Someone who think they know too much, I can easily sense that when you start talking, I already sense that that's where it's coming from. He already thinks he knows too much. And then during their retrospective, one thing I noticed was that they were not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the retrospective, and he is the one facilitating. He already told me that, oh no, this team is the best team within this organization. They are doing excellent. I already sense a competitive spirit in him, which a true leader would not even want to worry about which team is best or not. They would focus on, we all at the end of the day, we have the same goal as an organization. So that was another red flag. And then he's telling me they're doing excellent. They really don't need any help, but it's okay if I want to look what they're doing. And then I'm like, oh, no problem. That's great. I like that you're doing really well. And then now I'm there sitting to observe. This is retrospective. And then what I saw was he pulled up their dashboards, and then he was talking about their velocity, pointing out their velocity, and then me just reading through their velocity chart. When you get to chapter 5, what I just said will make sense to you. This velocity I'm talking about. Looking through the velocity, I could clearly see that they committed, because what velocity does is it shows you what you committed to in terms of numbers, and then it shows you what you were able to accomplish. I could see that they committed to 70 worth of work, which is what we call story points. They only accomplished 30. And then looking back through all of the other sprints, velocity, you can see all of that information in one place. The other sprints, they actually committed to 150. They were only able to accomplish around 32. The previous sprints, I could see that the commitment shows that they committed to 7. But at the end of the sprints, it shows that they brought in more work and they accomplished around 30, 33. Now that guy pulled up that velocity chart, and the guy is saying that, oh, we are doing great, we are doing perfect. You can look at our velocity here. We are doing and I'm seeing something different on the velocity. Now, how am I gonna debunk and say, oh no, I mean, does the team Is everyone really familiar with the concept of velocity and why we use it? That's what was running in my head while he's talking, And then I'm just looking at him. And then once it was done, it's like, so he was demoing to me that velocity board thing he was doing. Instead of having a real retrospective, focusing on what did we do well, what can we improve, and and what should we stop doing? All of that. That was not the line of conversation. And what is the one thing we can take as an action item? It wasn't it. He was actually demonstrating their whole board to me and stuff like that. And that was the meeting. The meeting ended like that. So, and they're like, okay, yeah, that's it. The retro is over. Let's go. And then right 5 minutes before that, I'm like, okay, Shrik, I don't want to mention his name. I'm like, so thank you very much. I saw for the concept of retrospective. Is everyone really familiar with the concept of retrospective and why we do it? He didn't even let any person open their mouth. He already jumped to say, yes, the team is doing great. But this person already they're still saying they're doing great, but what I'm seeing is something different. So what I did was I'm like, okay, no problem. I only just wrote down all what I observed. And then I didn't, because with leaders like that are more authoritative or the traditional leadership style, if you try to point out opportunity to improve, that's how I see it. I don't call them negative. I call them opportunities for improvement in front of their subordinates, because he was a tech manager. He would not like it. They don't like that you pointing out the downside in front of the people they are leading. He would push, he would even want to embarrass you. So I noticed that about him. So which is why I didn't mention anything live. I only just wrote it down. Then what I did was, after the meeting was over, I set up a one-on-one with him. Just try to understand really to communicate his background, and then with the team, how long he's been on the team and the different agile activities they've done. And then while we're having that conversation, that's when I was really empathetic, trying to understand where he's coming from, why the ego, because he had a lot of ego. And then, just understanding from that place. And then I gradually penetrated. I'm like, hey, what if I introduce, the Scrum events to the team, to just do a refresher training, just so we all are on the same page? Is that okay? Is that something that the team will want? It's like, well, I don't think the team needs that. I'm like, okay, don't worry. I think we'll do a self-assessment. I'm going to send an assessment to the team so that we can gather real data from the team. Let's hear from the team directly, and then we go from there. How does that sound? And they're like, yeah, that's okay. I sent out an assessment to the team, though. The team completed that assessment on a scale of 1 to 5. They all rated everything as the highest on that rating was a 2 on all of the things that we were looking at. So only Sri Khan had that understanding, was in the place of we are doing good, but the team members didn't think that. But yet they were afraid to say something. So that's it. That's an example.
Okay. But how do you really, when you really have to push, let's say if you see that a team member is not, okay, so we talk that the team needs to be cross-functional, right?
Mhm.
And in one of the videos you were giving examples, like the contractors, let's say from India, they're very sneaky. They'll tell you whatever reasons they didn't show up for this meeting that you probably will understand, or maybe not.
No, I understand. I understand.
How you actually no about the reasons that you might not understand from them,
Oh
like
yeah.
from
Mm-hmm.
so the idea, how do you take actions when it needs to be a tough action, not just like
Okay.
who do you bring it up to when you see
Okay.
somebody not really doing what it's supposed to?
The beauty of servant leadership is that we will never get to a place where we have to take tough action. That's why I love the job,
Okay.
because we can only help those who want to be helped.
Okay.
You see. So all you do is one-on-one is the most effective technique I use, because again, you don't want people to feel to close up when you point out their downside in front of other people. Most people will close up. So which is why I love using one-on-ones when it's an opportunity to improve. But if it's a strength, if it's a good thing they are doing, I will celebrate that in front of everybody. That's my strategy. So in this context, what you just said, I connect with them one-on-one, and then I offer to help them let them know that it's okay to not understand these things, and I'm here to support you and provide the coaching and mentoring they need. You will see that some people truly didn't get it, and with coaching and support, you will finally bring them up to speed. And then you'll be able to segregate that from people that even after the coaching, mentoring, and support, they're just not wanting to be there because their attitude is naturally like that. They are just, I don't want to say bad people, but they're just not ethical. So what do? If you've done that consistently, and now as a Scrum Master, I like to keep data. I'm tracking all of that. I met with this person this day, so and so. I'm writing all that information down. If you see that this person continuously exhibit this behavior and is beginning to impact the rest of the team, because as they say, one bad cocoyam spoils the whole bag of yams. You see? So if it's beginning to impact the rest of the team, what do? And impacting the goal, I'll definitely escalate it to the manager. So let the manager know that, okay, this is what is going on. These are the steps that I've taken, providing coaching and guidance. So I just want to let you know. They'll continue to observe. They'll start observing that person and then do their best to provide the support to bring that person up to speed. If the person still is not getting there, they'll fire you straight. Okay. That's usually the outcome. They'll fire you.
Now, one thing that I missed, when is decided how many sprints will be to complete the whole product backlog? How many sprints will we do? Let's say
that's a good question.
Let's say we decided it's a 2-week sprint, but how many?
That's a good question. I don't think anyone has ever asked that question over the years, really. So we don't even focus on that. We don't know how many sprints it would take because it's not important. It may take 1 million sprints. It may take forever. It never ends. But the point is, we want to continuously serve the need to our customers as they come. As a matter of fact, we don't even want the sprints to ever end because we want our jobs. We want to keep having jobs. And then secondly, think about what we covered in chapter 1, product versus project. If you remember, most organizations now are transitioning to the product base, where even if they finally develop the product, we want to have a strategy for maintenance of the project, of the product. We want to still be the one to maintain the product. So which is why the product we will always serve this customer and we'll serve them through sprints, so we don't care how many sprints it takes. We actually want it to take forever. What we care about is, okay, let's agree on a 2-week cadence and we stick to it. That's it.
Yeah.
Any other questions, please?
Just me, maybe. Meanwhile, I'm taking my.
All right. So we have. Remember, we said we wanted to discuss the Agile Manifesto. This is what will happen. I don't think we can do justice if we want to do the Agile Manifesto now, because we have only 9 minutes left and I need to do something else with that 9 minutes. So let's keep the Agile Manifesto for our next class. I want to show us, were you able to download and install the Jira that I asked you all to do?
I did create the account, but I wasn't able to download it actually as a separate.
Okay.
But I'm able to log in.
No, I honestly
okay. All right, no problem. So please make sure you do that before Tuesday.
Is it Jira Cloud? Sorry, I'm sorry. Is it Jira Cloud by Atlassian?
Atlassian.
Atlassian
is the owner of Jira. They are the owner of Jira. So this is it right here.
Right, company, yeah.
If you click on this link and just follow the steps, you'll be able to download and install. It's just like you're downloading any app and installing it on your device. But please do that on your computer, not your phone. Yeah, you can do that on your phone, but it'll be effective on your computer. So once you download, I need you to download and install it. After you're done downloading and installing it, the next thing you have to do, please write that down. That's your homework, is to create a project. I need you to create a project in that tool. How do you even know how to go about creating a project? This is it here. Actually, I created a tutorial that many students have used over the years.
I'm not seeing all these messages on my Slack.
You should see them. You are in here. I know that you're in here because your name is right in here.
Yeah.
These are our team members. This is your name in here. So go to Being Agile Level 1, 2024. You would see, should be able to see. Yeah, so you would watch this video, follow the steps that I recommended and apply it there. So just so you know, this video is one of the best beginners videos out there. This video was actually shared on scrum.org website, not by me, by the administrators of scrum.org, because they saw how effective it was, which is why this video, I think, has over 10,000 views or something.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm saying this is not to proud or anything like that. I'm only saying this because sometimes I know a king, we tend to become too familiar with what we have and really don't see it as valuable. We'll be like, oh, this Coach Karen actually gave me this video, so it's a normal video. No, it's not a normal video. It's a very, very, very good video. So please take your time. I actually sell this people that are not part of our program. They pay to get this training, and this is the material that we sell to them. This is how important it is. So please take your time, use this as a guide to create your project. And again, I'm not saying that you must be able to figure it. If you are not able to figure something out, it's okay. Come to class and tell us what your challenge was. But if you follow those steps that I go through, you should be fine. So that's it. So once you create the project, I need you to create user stories. Create 8 user stories. You don't need to put details, just put the titles. Create 8 user stories, chapter 1 to chapter 8, because that's the course, that's the project we are doing. The name of your project should be Scrum Master Level 1 February training. And then the user stories that I created in this course is different though. So don't follow the same user stories I created here. I'm saying that in your own context, you will create 8 user stories and you will label them chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 8. That's all I need from you.
So 8 user stories to have.
Yeah, that's all I need from you. All right. Now, once you do that, it's going to look like this. Once you create your project and put the stories in here, it's going to look like this.
Okay.
Now, there's one thing I also want to point out. In the process of you creating your project, let me try like I want to create a project here and show you, but I'm not going to save it. Once you click on create project and you're starting to create your project, there are different options here. Make sure you select Scrum because we are doing the Scrum framework. We are not doing Kanban. We are not doing top level management. We are not doing product discovery. We're not this. That's not it. Select this one and follow. So I'm saying that because sometimes people would make mistake and they just pick anyone. Sometimes they pick Kanban. And once you pick that, your board, the view will be different from what you see on mine. And then they'll come, Karen, I don't know what's going on. I did everything, but I don't see what I see on your own board. I'm like, because you selected the wrong thing. See? So that's all. That's the one trick I just wanted to show you.
One question. If we do have questions while we do this, like if I want to send a screenshot, ask something, a question, do I do it in the Slack chat?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's where you put it. And now, team, I just want to also say this. Once that Slack is really there for our collaboration as needed. And if anyone is putting something there, one thing I want to encourage you all to do is attempt to discuss these things, attempt to share your opinion on it. If it's something you're not familiar with, that's a call for you to quickly do quick research. And that's how your learning continues. You know, don't just ignore it or don't just say nothing like it doesn't concern you, because I believe it do concern us all. All right, team. Anything else? We have 3 minutes. If not,
Towards the eye.
All right. So this is one thing I also want to say. We have a live sprint planning happening in level 2 on Monday next week. So I'd like to invite you all. Again, it's totally free. It's not going to cost you anything extra. So I will share the the information to join the meeting before the Monday or on the Monday. So look out for that. If you have the time, please feel free to join. So experienced Scrum Masters will, have a live sprint review. And, that's it. That's what's going on. I just want you all to come learn.
What time is it on Monday?
It's 6, the level 2 is 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time.
Okay. And you will send the link in Slack in our conversation.
Yes, I will provide that information.
Okay.
All right, everyone.
Wait, sorry, quick one.
Yeah,
Is
go
it the
ahead.
project name that is going to be the Scrum Master Level 1 training?
Yes.
Then you said the user story should be chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, right?
Yes, up until chapter 8.
Okay. Thank you.
Are we
That's
just
all.
naming those chapters where we need to put something in it? Because that's where it gets...
If you want to put something in, awesome, that would be amazing. But the expectation is to at least name the chapters. Or if you can add details, why not? Go ahead and do so.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't want to overwhelm you all with all these things, but I only just need you to create those stories. That's all. But for the details, don't worry about it now. But if you want to, go ahead and do so.
Okay.
All right, Tim. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you and take care. See you next week.